Oh, wait. Oh, belum.
Sudah, monggo. I have recorded.
Oke.
Yeah.
You can start, Pak Arif.
Okay, so I will repeat once more. It's already one. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone here. Welcome to our literacy talk. Before we start our talk, we would like to say welcome Bu Ines or Bu Uji Astuti PhD from Universitas Negeri Semarang. And then I also happily to welcome for all audience here coming from different institutions. Yeah, we have schools, we have universities, and also some other students. Yeah, not only from the graduate program, but also from postgraduate programs. Welcome to our literacy talk. I would like to introduce first. My name is Arif Suryo Priyatmojo. I will be the moderator in this very special occasion. And then for today's talk, I would like to introduce 4 different speakers. The first one is Mr. Fadila Yonata. He will be talking about constructing, media for total literacies for newcomer parents. Yeah, so this is the short biodata from Pak Fadil Yonata. He is from Stain Sultan Abdurrahman, Kepulauan Riau, and then now he is taking doctorate program in Universitas Negeri Semarang. And then the second one will be Bu Entika Fani Prastikawati. She is from Universitas PGRI Semarang. She is also the students of doctorate program in Universitas Negeri Semarang. And then the next is Bu Prila Rohmawati. And then Bu Prila will be talking about media for promoting children's literacy competence. And then this is the biodata of Bu Prila. She is from IAIN Ponorogo. So she is also studying in doctorate program in Universitas Negeri Semarang. And then the last speaker will be Bu Prila Rohmawati. Bu Rika Riwayatiningsih ya from Universitas Negeri PGRI Kediri. And then in this special talk, there will be 4 different topics. Yeah, the first one is toddler literacies for newcomer parents. The speaker will be Pak Fadila Yonata. And then the second one will be children literacy practices, parents teacher literacy sponsorship by Bu Entika Fani Prastikawati. And then the third will be Bu Prila Rohmawati, talking about media for promoting children's literacy competence. And then the last will be pedagogy and practices children critical literacy nuances. And then the reasons why we have this talk, because nowadays almost all learning processes are conducted by using virtual learning. So it is very interested to be, research and also to be discussed. And then by having this discussion, there will be a kind of academic consensus about we are as teachers, how to adapt with these changing situations. And then we focus on the children's literacy. And then I would like to invite the first speaker, Pak Fadila, to prepare the slide. And then this is the, So after having a presentation from all presenters, in this case we have 4 presenters, there will be Q&A, question and answer. we will be inviting 2 sessions, and then each session consists of 3 questions. Yeah, and then please, Pak Fadila, I will give the time to the first speaker.
Thank you, Pak Arif, for the introduction. Okay, let me start my part. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fadila Yunata.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, I'm a student in doctoral program in UNES. Yeah, and also I'm a lecturer in Stein Sultan Abdul Rahman, Kepulauan Riau. Okay, in this occasion, I'd like to deliver a topic about toddler literacy for newcomers parents. Yeah, okay.
Bu Rika, share screen.
Yeah, already.
Okay, the first slide.
Terus satu.
Okay, thank you. This is my topic, yeah, about toddler literacy for newcomer parents. Yeah, I think it is quite quite interesting. Yeah, for the first slide, please. Bu Rika, still the first slide.
Wait a moment.
Okay, yeah. Why I talk about newcomer parents here? Yeah, yeah. You can see from the picture. Yeah, newcomer means maybe just married parent. Ya, just married couple. Ya, jadi keluarga yang baru menikah dan baru memiliki anak. Ya. Kalau sudah punya anak lebih dari 1, mungkin sudah punya 3, itu kategorinya old timer parents maybe, because they already have experience in growing their children. And now I talk about newcomer parents because I'm also newcomer parents here. So I think it is interesting to share the knowledge and also experience that I have had right now. Okay, next please. Yeah, we talk about literacy. What is literacy? Maybe it is a simple things. Yeah, maybe we can see in some media, or in some social media. Many people talk about literacy such as digital literacy, media literacy, and etc. But actually, do we know what the meaning is? Yeah, what is the meaning of literacy itself? Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about the development of literacy until now. Yeah, literacy is simply defined as ability to make meaning through reading and writing. Maybe all of us know that. Mungkin dari kita semua sudah tahu ya kalau literasi yang kita ketahui itu adalah kemampuan untuk make meaning, atau apa istilahnya, to communicate, to make meaning for communication. Jadi kita seperti membaca atau menulis, dan selanjutnya juga mengetahui matematika, angka. Nah, itu tujuannya untuk berkomunikasi, untuk berkomunikasi dengan orang lain. Nah, mungkin literasi, istilah literasi yang kita miliki ini itu bisa dikategorikan sebagai literasi yang old basic atau termasuk kategori yang lama. Karena I forget to attach the citation here. According to Noble and Landseer, ada istilah baru yaitu new literacies apa itu new literacies? Ya, literasi baru. Jadi ada sedikit perkembangan dari literasi biasa ke new literacies. We can see from the term here, ya, from literacy only single or yeah, only single word, ya, literacy into plural word literacies. Ya, berarti ada lebih dari satu macam literasi. Nah, perkembangan dari literasi ke literasi baru ini dipengaruhi oleh the advanced development of technology, ya, di mana perkembangan zaman, perkembangan teknologi ternyata telah mempengaruhi the way people to make meaning. Ya, apa sih maksudnya make meaning ini? Ya, tanpa kita sadari, kita sebagai manusia itu dari bangun tidur, we have made meaning. Ya, we produce, we distribute, we share, and also we negotiate meaning. Ya, itu menurut Langsher, Noble and Langsher. Jadi dari pertama kali kita bangun, kita sudah memproduce literacy or produce meaning. Ya, mungkin dari itu, dari berbagai macam teks, ya. Teks itu kan tidak hanya teks yang tertulis, ya. It can be verbal and also visual. Ya, in terms of verbal, it can be spoken and also written text. So, karena zaman yang sudah semakin canggih saat ini, ya, teknologi yang sudah semakin sangat canggih, ya, almost every people have smartphone on their hands. Ya, jadi komunikasi itu tidak hanya yang tertulis sekarang ini. Nah, ternyata ini juga mempengaruhi framework dari literasi tersebut. Nah, akhirnya terciptalah istilah baru, yaitu new literacies. Pembelajar yang bisa aktif berkomunikasi di masa yang akan mendatang. Ya. Nah, kenapa kok ini perlu diketahui oleh new parents? Ya, karena seperti yang kita ketahui, Indonesia ini have demographic dividend, ya, in until 2037, ya. Jadi kita ini mendapatkan bonus demografi. What does it mean? It means that the age of productive age, ya, range from 16 until 60 di non-productive age. Jadi usia produktif masyarakat Indonesia itu lebih tinggi, 60 tahun 2000, pokoknya sampai tahun 2037. It means that the number of newcomer parents is also greater. Jadi jumlah orang tua baru juga meningkat dari karena kita berada pada bonus demografi ini. Oleh karena itu sangat penting untuk mempersiapkan atau untuk memberikan new literacy awareness, yaitu kesadaran literasi baru bagi para orang tua tersebut. Ya, sehingga di masa mendatang learners itu sudah paham akan new literacy. Ya,
tutup dulu videonya.
Kalau yang awalnya
ya ampun, kakaknya aku jam.
Ya, kalau awalnya itu kita hanya meaning making from what is that? Ya, from conventional method, ya, kita mungkin hanya berdasarkan writing in a paper, ya, reading a book, ya, printed book, ya. Now we know that fungsi dari literasi itu setelah berkembang, ya. Jadi konsep yang paling utama dari literasi baru yaitu for global meaning making, yaitu untuk mempersiapkan dapat berkomunikasi di kancah global, ya, to be global citizenship, ya, menjadi masyarakat yang global, melalui sifatnya yang paling utama itu participatory dan kolaboratif. Nah, jadi untuk menjadi seorang global citizenship ini harus diajarkan bagaimana bersikap participatory, aktif di sini, dan juga kolaboratif. Kolaboratif di sini saling bekerja sama. Nah, pada menurut dua sifat inilah akhirnya perlu peran orang tua untuk mempersiapkan toddler ya, atau mungkin anak-anaknya ya, anak-anak yang masih kecil untuk mempelajari atau untuk mengetahui literasi baru ini. Oke, next slide please. Nah, ini from Galantis and Cope, ya, the distinctive features between all basic literacy and also new basic literacy. Ya, secara umum ini perbedaan mendasar antara literasi yang lama dan new literacy. Ya, mungkin yang pertama reading and writing are two of the 3 R's. Ya, 3 R's ini ada reading, writing, and also arithmetic ya. Jadi dulu itu mungkin hanya reading and writing saja yang ditonjolkan. Now in this era, ya, literacy and numeracy are paramount ya. Are fundamental life skills. Jadi kita harus mengetahui literasi huruf dan juga angka. Seperti yang kita ketahui, data itu sangat penting sekarang ini. Selanjutnya ada phonic rules. Di masa dulu phonic rules sangat strict ya. Namun sekarang ini cukup multiple literacies for a world of multimodal communication. Nah, jadi komunikasi itu tidak hanya komunikasi yang ditulis aja atau yang tertulis saja gitu, tapi bisa juga melalui komunikasi multimodal. Multimodal ini bisa dari visual, images ya, and also music, and also ya any other modes of communication. Jadi berkomunikasi itu tidak hanya dengan tulisan. Selanjutnya ada memperhatikan correct spelling and grammar. And in new, ya, many social languages and variation in communication appropriate to settings. Ya, jadi tidak terpengaruh terfokus pada spelling dan grammar saja. Yang paling penting adalah bagaimana untuk social purpose. Ya, selanjutnya ada standard educated English, and also now people can expand the use of English. Ya. Yeah, we know that the term global English is it consists of English as international language, English as English as lingua franca, and many others. So that native speakerism is minimized and also diminished ya. Jadi bagaimana kiblatnya tidak hanya melihat kepada negara-negara native speaker ya, tapi sekarang kita sudah menggunakan English pada konteks secara global. Jadi tidak melulu menganut native speakerism. Selanjutnya ada appreciating text of prestige literary value, and also di yang baru ini a wide and diverse range of text valued. Ya, from different media and text type ya, seperti yang tadi, karena kita multimodal era ya right now. And last one, kalau dulu itu well disciplined kinds of people ya, strict to the rule ya, di mana kalau kita menulis harus grammar yang paling utama mungkin kalau dalam bahasa Inggris. And now in new literacy framework, people can negotiate different human contexts and styles of communication. Jadi we consider social and cultural aspect here. Ya, jadi ketika kita berkomunikasi dengan orang Filipina, mungkin kita sudah mempertimbangkan aspek-aspek sosial dan budayanya. Jadi tidak melulu yang penting inti dari komunikasi itu bisa tercapai. Nah, jadi tidak melulu kita memperhatikan grammar yang benar atau stick to the rule ya. Nah, itu perbedaan antara old basic dan new basic based on Galantis and Cope. And then setelah mengetahui ini, perbedaan-perbedaan ini, next Bu. Nah, ini akan menjadi gambaran for newcomer parents. Nah, jadi kita harus men-setting dulu. Nah, konsep-konsep tadi dari merubah dari konsep old basic literature into new basic literature or new basic literacies. Ya, sorry. Setelah kita perhatikan tadi, konsep yang paling utama yaitu participatory dan kolaboratif. Nah, according to child development theory, ya proposed by Bron van Brenner, ya ternyata perkembangan anak itu dipengaruhi oleh 4 aspects. Ya, the first one sex, jenis kelamin ya, family, keluarga, community, komunitas, and also social and cultural context around them. Jadi ada 4 aspek penting yang mempengaruhi pertumbuhan anak. Nah, ini ada stage of early childhood. Nah, I only focus on toddler here. It means that starting from 1 to 4 years old. Jadi dari umur 1 sampai 4 tahun itu yang dikategorikan sebagai toddler. Okay. Next, we focus on family here. Next. Nah, ya, ini saya hanya memberi review dari beberapa kajian. Nah, ini salah satu kajian yang menarik menurut saya. Jadi setelah kita mengetahui, oh konsepnya ini telah ada berubah dari yang lama ke yang baru. Nah, bagaimana sih kira-kira praktisnya di dalam rumah atau praktisnya dalam kehidupan kita agar kita bisa menerapkan new literacy ini kepada anak. Nah, several research, several studies have reported about this. Yeah, one of them is from Wong, Konishi, and Kong on 2020. Yeah, they analyze parent-child activities and social emotional. Nah, ternyata ada aktivitas-aktivitas yang berhubungan dengan literasi ini, ya berhubungan dengan sosial emosi anak. Nah, contohnya ada story reading, storytelling, dan music activities. Ya, mereka melihat pengaruhnya terhadap sosial emosi anak dari hyperactivity, emotional, anxiety problems, dan physical aggression. Ini yang suka mukul-mukul orang gitu ya, atau indirect aggression yang suka ngomongin orang di belakang, dan juga prosocial behaviors terhadap sikap yang selalu menolong orang lain. Nah, jadi kira-kira ada nggak hubungan antara story reading, storytelling, dan music activities? Nah, ketiga activities ini adalah aktivitas yang mendukung kolaboratif dan participatory. Jadi yang mengharuskan kolaborasi antara orang tua dan anak di dalam rumah. Oke, bagaimana hasilnya? Ayo kita lihat. Next. Nah, ini ternyata story reading for boys, frequent story reading predicted less hyperactivity and emotional anxiety problems. While for girls, more frequent story reading predicted more prosocial behaviors. Ya, ternyata berpengaruh kepada laki-laki itu bisa menurunkan hyperactivity-nya dan menurunkan emotional atau anxiety problems. Nah, selanjutnya untuk anak perempuan ini sangat baik untuk meningkatkan prosocial behaviors-nya. Nah, hasil ini juga sesuai dengan yang dilakukan oleh Betawi, ya. Social and emotional skills for toddlers have improved positively through story time. So, bagi newcomer parents, please spare your time for your children, ya, maybe to read together. Okay, next. Selanjutnya storytelling. Storytelling, ya, also give also have strong influence ya toward children social development, social emotional development. Oke, bisa dilihat di sini ternyata for boys storytelling itu bisa menurunkan physical and indirect aggression and more prosocial behaviors. While for girls storytelling bisa menurunkan hyperactivity. Kenapa ya kok bisa seperti itu? Karena di storytelling ini children must pay extra attention to the speaker in order to grasp the story. So, engaging in frequent storytelling would thus offer children plenty of opportunities to practice their attentive skill, which might consequently reduce their likelihood of showing hyperactivity. Jadi ketika dia mendengarkan orang tuanya storytelling, nah itu ternyata dapat menurunkan hyperactivity dari anak tersebut. Selanjutnya, aktivitas ketiga yang bisa dilakukan adalah next, Bu, music activities. Nah, playing music together with your children. So, it will help to predict more pro-social behaviors over time. Ya, jadi ini juga bisa menurunkan pro-social behaviors. And also for girls, it can lower hyperactivity and more pro-social behaviors. Ternyata music activities promote pro-social behaviors because they provide a platform for participants to work cooperatively. So when we play together with our children, there is a chance, to play to work cooperatively. Okay, next. Okay, so maybe we come to the conclusion. Yeah. It needs to know that parents' awareness on new literacies is really important, and also parent-child collaborative activity, like I have talked to you before, have several influences toward children's social emotional development. So I think please consider that things and that we start to practice in our home, because it can create children capacities, and also it can develop children capacities as global meaning makers. Yeah. Okay. Next. Yeah. Here are some references that I've used in my presentation. Okay. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Pak Fadil to present a very interesting topic about toddler literacy for newcomer parents. And then now we go to the next presenter. So the second one will be Bu Entika Fani, and then she's talking about parents-teacher literacy sponsorship, guiding the children identity through literacy practices. So in the previous topic, Pak Fadil talked about children's, yeah, and then here in the second part, Bu Fani will be talking about how to guide the children through literacy practices. Okay, so I will give the time for Bu Fani. Okay.
Thank you, Pak Arif. Thank you, Pak Arif, for the chance. Mbak Rika, would you like to share the PowerPoint? Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining this literacy talks that held by UNES, and I'm very grateful to present one of the idea coming to my mind, when encountering the term new literacy in one of my subjects in UNES. Here, I would like to continue what have been discussed by Pak Fadil in the previous sessions. I highlight parents collaborated with teachers, roles, their roles, and I call them parent and teacher as literacy sponsorship, because as we know that the first place for children to get interaction and then making meaning is the parents. But then in the certain occasion and time, the children would like to continue to what I call as schooling, so teacher will play the role as the controlling one and monitoring the literacy practices among them. Here I would like to present how then the role of parents and teachers in conducting home and school literacy practices in guiding our children, our students to construct their identity, because for us, of course, as educator and parents, yeah, it is quite important to know this process. The next slide. I start from home, yeah, as the first literacy practices that I would like to discuss here. I'm interested in one of the sentences, yeah, from Nayot and O'Neill in 2013, stating that children become literate beings by participating in literacy events defined by their home culture. So the word home culture here is actually as the basic foundation when we start what we call as literacy practices, because once I read an article, yeah, and then the author mentions, yeah, that literacy practices is not only about reading and writing, but literacy practices can start by looking and also investigating and also making meaning to the interactions happens surround us. And then here, who are the agency? Yeah, who are the agency? So in literacy practices, yeah, home literacy practices, there will be the need of agency or those who are involved in the practice of literacy practices. And in presenting, in making home literacy practices, all family members are contribute to the development of home literacy practices. Yeah, even we consider that usually parents play the main role as the one who controls the children, but there is some also a case where a child then finally become the agency of parents to to have their literacy practices, and I will talk it later. And this home literacy practices is quite important for us because as parents, for me personally, yeah, knowing the concept or the foundation of literacy first, yeah, before it comes to the new literacy, because I have 5 years old son, and for me it's quite important to build the concept of old literacy first before I come to present the new literacy. Yeah, so I start for modeling my sons to read, and then to to share the story, and then I will ask him to share something, yeah, everything that he got from his friends, yeah, his neighbor, or even from his family members, yeah. And then the difference here on the home literacy practices, yeah, of course, can occur in one family to the other family, and the matter here is influenced by the family background, and then socio-culture, and then socio-economic status, and all the sources that I read on literacy practices usually highlight, yeah, this matter to be one of the indicator of how home literacy practices can be successfully conducted or not. And let me give the example that sometimes one family may have the routines, yeah, of reading the books, yeah, or even parents buying the children's the books, yeah, and then on the other hand, there is also a case where because of the economical problem, then the parents cannot buy the book or even doing the reading routine or sharing knowledge with the children, and it may one of the factor as the unsuccessful home literacy practices. And how the parents play the role, yeah. So parents are the agencies who is crucial to build the children's literacy practices, yeah, because the parent will control and then monitor, and the last is guiding the children to be in the right track of the knowledge that he got. And then here, so we can say that children acquire knowledge from literacy event practice in their homes, and these practices may vary greatly across each culture. So once I also read an article
Fani? So I think something happened to Bu Fani presentation.
Can I, Pak Arif?
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, go on. Thank you.
Yeah, so what is it? The last is about how then the children will have different fund of knowledge because of their home literacy practices are different each other. And what has been conducted at home, then it is quite important for us to connect and also to link to the school literacy practices, as we know that at the age of 5 or 4 they start to enter schooling. And in the next slide, Gurika. Yeah, in the next slide, this slide, how then school literacy practices is actually the continuity of home literacy practices. And here I can say that the first point is school literacy practice program. So every single school has the policy, yes, like policy, and also the activities, that start how literacy practice happen at school. And then the large scale of literacy practices program at school continue to the practice in the classroom. So the classroom here could be the role, could be the role of the teachers to control and to conduct these literacy practices. Once I have a niece, and she told me that her teachers actually conduct this kind of classroom literacy practices. So she provides blog, and then every single student may post something which is interesting for them. And one day one student, a friend of mine, posted a cover of a new book, about by her parents. Then the other students will comment, like talking the content of the books, or even linking to the other kind of information relating to the topic or the cover of the book. And once a week, her English teacher would like to to present the discussion at the end of the English class. And it takes for more about 10 minutes until 15 minutes before the class is ended. And they discuss the topic, they talk in the blogs, and then the teacher would like to give the feedbacks, giving the confirmation, because it is quite important for teachers, as the educator, to give confirmation on the knowledge, for our students. Because in this technology, in this era of technology, massive technology, as we know that we cannot control all the information comes to our students. So as the educator, we need to confirm, we need to give feedback, and also guide them to be in the right track too, like the parents do. And then this classroom literacy practices continued by what we call as literacy assignment. And this literacy assignments, this term of literacy assignment was taken from one of the articles that I would like to present here. This literacy assignment is actually an activities, yeah, that connects school literacy practices into home literacy practices. So the teachers guide the students to what is it, to continue what they have done at school into home literacy practices. And this also relates to the parents' role, yeah, to control and also to have to take part in these literacy practices. And then after this kind of activity of literacy practices done, there is a phase where the learning, yeah, continued into what we call as learning beyond the classroom. So this is the role of social media or ICT involvement, technology involvement in mediating the literacy practices. And as what has been Fadil mentioned before, that the ethos of new literacy actually start from the concept of how one child is also considered as the knowledge producer for the others. Yeah, so one brings the knowledge from their own cultures, where or from the place where they live, and then they would like to start by sharing each other on the knowledge. So the knowledge here is not something just about formal educations or formal knowledge, but it is so wide, yeah, the concept of knowledge here. And then it continue by what is it, sharing each other and commenting each other, and then that is the play of social media, yeah, that will be presented by Pupri later on. And here one of the research, yeah, that I got and I read much, yeah, from Kari Errol, entitled "Connecting School and Families: Understanding the Influence of Home Literacy Practices" in 2016. Yeah, so they investigated the early literacy event, which was practiced by 3 low socioeconomic status matter, and that is what we call as literacy assignment, and they call it as literacy tasks. And these tasks were assigned by the teacher, controlled by the teacher, and also ask the parents to take part in this literacy tasks. And then what had been found, yeah, they found that there are a lot of sophisticated reading behaviors like labeling, schema activations, and then questioning among parents and children, yeah, in sharing the knowledge each other, and also the term adult modeling. So here the term adult modeling is like when the mother model to their child on presenting, on explaining something which is quite difficult to understand by their children. And then there is also the role of digital media, yeah, particularly ebooks and also educational application created by school, yeah, as the support and part of learning beyond home and school and this is part of the new literacies practices, yeah, because as we know that those children, those students are called as digital natives, so they cannot live without social media at this time. And then the implication here that school should strive to supplement the home literacy practices of their students, especially the influence of home literacy practices. And also one result which is important here is rather than the gentle acquisitions format in which teachers probe for specific answer, teacher can facilitate conversation about characters and stories that may lead to what we call as grand conversation. So it means that this is not something about formal learning, yeah, but it is interesting when teachers provide a certain space, yeah, in the classroom to discuss something which is interested by their students, as what my niece told us. This grand conversation, also called as the unscript, and then authentic discussion about books that develop comprehensions. Yeah, maybe one day there is teachers who give the space of talking the books that the students like. Yeah, so it means that it's not only about the textbook at school, but it may about the comics or maybe the story, short story, and etc. The next slide would be the second research, yeah, Mbak Rika. The second research entitled Children Literacy Interest and its Relation to Parents Literacy Promoting Practices, and it has wide samples, yeah, because it finally took subsample of 230 children with longitudinal data, and here parent literacy practices and child literacy interests are actually related concurrently across the time. From this paper, the newest one is the questionnaires, yeah, the instrument of the data collections, yeah, using child activities preference checklist or CAPC. Yeah. Then the results show that parents who do not initially engage in exposure practices may be less likely to change this behavior. Parents who have established exposure habits, yeah, like read more often to their children, and then read more books to their children, skip more children's book in the home, and allow their children to see them reading, yeah, for pleasure more often, then finally they continue to engage in this activity frequently. And there is also what we call as a potential bidirectional relationship. Yes, this potential bidirectional relationship is about how the parent practices influence, yeah, the children interest, and also how children interest also influence the literacy parents practices. The next slide, Mbak Rika. Yeah, and then how to realize home and school literacy practices into the ethos of new literacies, as it has been mentioned before in Galantis and Cope 2012. The concept of new ethos of new literacy comes or start from the knowledge producer. Yeah, the students become the knowledge producer each other. So every single students actually special, yeah, they are actually special, bringing their own special identity, their own special literacy from their own culture, from the place they live. And then the collaborative, yeah, so the collaborative here is how they in groups, yeah, or collaboratively share the knowledge, and then they start to use their social media for continuing what they learn in groups, and then they finally have self-assessment, and then they reflecting, yeah, what they have learned, and finally there is a confirmation of all knowledge that has been gained. And the next slide. So this is how the concept of old literacy practices, yeah, in home literacy practices and school literacy practices comes to the new literacy practices. Yeah, school and families should work together to provide the complementary and consistent literacy learning experience, as well as providing and then also monitoring the social media for children. So even they got the children got their right to use the social media, but then it is back to our role as parents and teachers to control and monitor, because there are a lot of main issue today, yeah, which is very dangerous for our children and also our students. And then the knowledge of home practices is connected, yeah. So the knowledge from home that we call as fund of knowledge is actually connected, should be connected, and then supported by the school experience. So what they have at home should be linked, should be practiced at schools lah, yeah. For example, one students will have different different daily language, yeah. In one classroom maybe there is Sundanese, there is Japanese, and these differences will create a different fund of knowledge. And what is shared, so the last remark is that what is shared by the children or students must be collaboratively discussed to get the feedback, and then continued by the use of social media in playing its role for mediating the learning beyond the classroom. And finally, the need of reflection of what they have learned need to be confirmed. So that is the process of confirmation as the role of parents and teachers here. And this is all references that I use for presenting the material. Thank you very much for the chance, and I am back to moderator Pak Arif. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Bu Andika for presenting a very interesting topic. This is about parents, teachers, literacy sponsorship, guiding the children's identity through literacy practices. And then according to the presentation from Bu Andika Fani, school literacy practices, in the school literacy practices, teachers have 4 different roles. Yeah, the first one is school literacy practices program, and then classroom literacy practices, and then literacy assignment by teachers, and continued to learning beyond classroom. And then for the next presenter, okay, before we continue our next presentations, I would like to inform for all audiences, if you have questions to ask, please write down your questions in the inbox chat. So the presenter will try to, what is that? Choose 6 different questions from the audience, and then they will try to answer the questions. Okay, so next will be Bu Prila. Bu Prila, she will be presenting about media for promoting children literacy competence. Okay, Bu Prila, time is yours.
Okay, Pak Arif, thank you for the chance. Good afternoon, all the audience, Ibu Ines, and all of my friends in doctoral program from UNES. Okay, this is my part. I will talk about media for promoting children literacy competence. And next slide. Okay, I will highlight 4 big issues here. The first is a little bit the concept of new literacy perspective. And the second is about how young learner learns in order to identify the characteristic of the children. And the next issue is media, technology, and literacies, which are supported by several studies, and best practice media. Okay, next slide, Mbak. Okay, this is just a review for a while because the 2 presenters previously have already explained about this new literacy perspective. You see that nowadays children grow up increasingly surrounded by digital technology, so we cannot deny it. Therefore, new literacies include the new skill, strategies, and social practice that are required by new technologies for information and communications. Then, new literacies are central to full participation in the global community. So it is in the side of a socio-cultural that new literacies focus on skill, knowledge, and tools in the use within social practice. The next perspective is that new literacies regularly change as their defining technologies and social practice change. It involves bringing technology knowledge and skill together with the context of social purpose. And the last perspective is that new literacies are multifaceted, and our understanding of them benefit from multiple. It means that the ways people make meaning and communicate are increasingly multimodal and digital. Next slide, please. After knowing a little bit concept of new literacies, now let's focus on young learners' characteristic, how children learned. Before that, Mbak? Yeah, there are big theories from several psychologists that say children are active learners and thinker, yeah, from Piaget. It focuses on the mechanism that help them adapt and learn new concept of skill. Here, children build their own knowledge based on their experiences. And the second theory that children learn through social interaction. Yeah, children here acquire their cultural values, belief, problem-solving strategies, communication, collaborative by exchange the idea with the society. And the last from Brunner, that children learn effectively through scaffolding by adults. So it means that in learning new concept, children need teachers and parents sponsorship, like what is already explained by the previous presenter, Mbak Fani. Then referring to the children characteristic as well as the perspective of new literacies, media and technology is considered important issue to be discussed for building children's identity. Okay, next slide, Mbak. Media, technology, and teaching literacies. Yeah, let's define what is media first. Media is a channel, yeah, as a channel of communication. It is just a means for communication, and we have to be wise to select appropriate media for explaining the concept that given to our students or our children. There is a close connection between media and teaching method. So the use and selections of one particular teaching method has consequences on the use of appropriate type of media. And the role, yeah. What is actually the role of media? Yeah, media is for attract attention, yeah, especially for the children. We have to find the attractive one to attract their attention, developing interest, yeah, adjusting the learning environment, and promoting the acceptance of an idea. Therefore, yeah, we have to select the teaching media that suit to the students' level of development, because it will successfully help them understand the material. Next slide, Pak. Yeah. Before that, yeah. Media, yeah. You see that the student born between 1980 and 2000 are categorized into millennial generations, yeah, often described as being digital native, yeah, who have high level of technological literacy. In order to best meet of the digital native, yeah, parents as well as teachers must build a bridge connecting knowledge and skill that students already have to the academic content and skill required for their success. And several research dealing with media technology and literacies has already produced due to the widespread availability of devices such as smartphone and tablet everywhere. It's triggered some researchers to conduct research on that. The first research conducted by Lemis at 2014 using media to aid children in war, crisis, and vulnerable circumstances. The findings show that media can aid children literacy skills by giving voice to their opinion, emotion, and experiences during war and conflict. The second research conducted by Gallagher at 2015, the title of the article is that International Perspective on Literacy Learning with iPads. By reading on screen in iPad, some aspects are handled here in which comprehension as well as different mode to make meaning. Through reading the iPad, the students beside their comprehension, they can deliver what actually the lessons from the reading that through this iPad. The third reason is the third research conducted by Kuchirkova at 2019, in which children empathy can be built through fictional narrative. Then the research will be, I will highlight the finding of the research after this about best media practice. Next slide, Mbak. Next. Okay. This is through the research. I just take two kinds of media, which is very popular in society. Actually, there are many kinds of media for promoting students' literacy, but I just take two, and hopefully the audience can share. Maybe beside this media, you can find another media for supporting literacy to children. The first is that fictional or narrative, fiction stories. The finding of Kuchirkova, like I said before, that children's empathy, through fictional narrative, through the lesson learned from fiction stories, the children can feel empathy. They can build their empathy, not only for friends, maybe from the environment, the parents, And you see that when still, even though they are still in toddler, this fiction stories, it's engaged, story engagement to convey that even young children, they cannot read, but they hear the story, help the children to build their empathy. Of course, the role of the parents, the role of adult is important in this case. When we read to children, especially when we are a teacher, when we read to children, we are doing so much more than just teaching the material, the concept. We are encouraging their imagination, exploring of the culture, and also teaching about the word. And this is one of the media. Mbak Fani, can you click one of the, this is the video, just for a while. One of the fiction stories or fictional narrative, which can be a good media for children.
I did, Bu Prila, but
Okay,
seems like
it's okay. And nowadays, there are so many wonderful children's stories in the form of video, ebook, yeah, animation. However, we should bear in our mind that not all of them are appropriate to use with children. Okay, next slide, Mbak. Okay, this is the most popular one. Yeah, maybe not only children, but also adult is interesting in the use of social media. So what is social media actually? This is a computer-based technology for sharing ideas, thought, information, and connect with each other. There are two research dealing with the use of social media. The first is that from Canay 2017. She found that social media tools and online practice influence participants' reading skill, habits, writing skill, and speaking in every way. Yeah, the research, the title of the research is The Effect of Social Media on Literacy Development Among Pupils in Junior High School in Ghana. So the use of social media, the way to interact by using social media influence the student's habit. The next research conducted by Dyer 2018 that social media provide children with positive interaction apart from the negative effect. Yeah, there are so many articles stated that social media have a negative effect, but the positive one is also found. The positive interaction and stronger friendship. Yeah, it can also improve access to diversity, increase inclusion, and reduce social isolation. Then I provide two examples. One of the very well-known social media, Facebook and Instagram, how the teacher can use it. For Facebook, for example, you can make a Facebook page in which the teacher can use to post class update, share homework, assignment, and encourage discussion. And the next is Instagram. Yeah, it is famous with the features of the photograph. So you can use Instagram for photo essay. Instagram allows students to practice digital storytelling, yeah, in which the students can create a class-specific Instagram account, and if the course is ended, they can delete it. But the use of social media will be meaningless if there is no role of parents. Yeah, parents must provide encouragement, support, and access to activities that enable the children to build their identity. Yeah, they have to, the children must be supported by the parent. Okay, next slide would be the last. From my presentation, I can make a conclusion that literacy demands extend beyond the traditional mode of reading, writing, and speaking to incorporate facility with new genre, new message, and new media and information technologies. In which here, media is only a means, yeah, it's only a means for transmitting or delivering message to young learners or our children in order to build identity. Therefore, we have to select media wisely. And the thing that I should highlight here, the role of parents, yeah, is the important one, because a parent is their child first teacher and should remain their best teacher throughout life. The parent expose a child to age-appropriate challenge to experience that allow the children to explore on their own, learn from interacting with their environment. Ya, how sophisticated media, ya, secanggih apapun media, they cannot replace the role of the parents. Thank you. I give it back to moderator. Thank you, Pak Arief.
Okay, so thank you, Bu Prila. So she has presented a very interesting topic about social media, yeah, because now we are in the era of a gap, yeah. So between digital native and also digital native, meaning that our children nowadays they are born with technologies, and then we are, as what is that, the older ones, yeah, sometimes find it difficult, yeah, to cope with that case. So thank you, Bu Prila, for a nice presentation. So I can conclude for your presentation that parents indeed, yeah, are more important than the social media. Yeah, okay. So the last presentations will be Bu Rika. So she will be talking about pedagogy and practices, children critical literacy nuances. So the time is yours, Bu Rika. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Arief, as the moderator on today's sessions. Thank you, audiences, on attending our event on literacy talk. My part is talking about pedagogy and practices children critical literacy nuances. Earlier, all speakers has talked about the literacy or the history of the literacy itself beyond the children's life. That all are in the changing movement between literacy itself into the new literacies. They have explained or explored about the changing movement is because of the internet in the world. So with the development of the internet, so makes the development of the technology. So that's why the movement of the word of literacy itself then goes to the new literacies nowadays. Okay, and then I relate to the way how children involved in the critical literacy nuances while they are in the world of technology development. Okay, as we know that with the rapid development of those technologies, that all the informations and then all around us can be accessed easily through technology in WhatsApp, and Facebook, Twitter, or on various social media, which this impact can make the existence of the spam news or hoax in our entire living. So to encounter this, since earlier children, we as parents or educators need to sit aside with their children to encounter the problem on getting or gathering the informations which is false, which I called with the fake news or what is called hoax, yeah. And this is my part. We talk about how we help the children on bringing the nuances of the critical literacy in this technology era. Move slide, please. Fadil. I start from the quote. It's interested me to talk about that. It comes from the pitch on 2014. One of the teacher in that research participants told that the critical literacy means to her being literate in all areas. It means that we are able to comfortably talk about issues that concern being human. In that case, Sarah, one of the teacher, which is part of the population or the member of the research population from the beach research, have a classroom that all the children have various questions when the teachers show the pictures books about white and a black man, or white and a black human. And they have many questions to ask in that classroom. One of the questions that I can catch in that research article is talking about what is racism, and then why it should be racism, and then who am I? Another students will ask why I'm white, and then why others are black. So that questions comes to the students thinking that makes the teacher have to handle that they need to have a critical thinking to understand about the social environment or the social justice. So bringing that experience in this discussion, I start with that quote from Page article on 2014. Okay, go to next slide. As we know that with the history of the literacy itself, the text become widened. Earlier or previously, text is in the written form, that the literacy itself is only understood by reading and writing a part of a written text. And then with the changings of the movement of the literacy itself, then the modalities and then multi-literacies involved or intercorrelated with that literacy itself. And we know that all informations, all the text, which is visual, written, and then spoken, can be seen in online, whether in print or in electronic games or mass media in students or children's environments. In this case, then children's or students need to be taught the skills of how to interpret the messages or informations bringing by those rings of text to communicate the information appropriately. So in this case, I will talk about some various research articles who have a positive impact on developing critical literacy among younger learners or children. Okay, let's move to another slide. Okay, I'll be back to talk a little about the basic concept of literacy that have already talked by the previous speaker, that this is the history from the literacy, that the references it's at first of the literacy conception is the ability to read and write. And then critical literacy is play the role not only on meaning makers, but also the role of text critics. In this case, children need us as the parents or educators to go side by side to have the analysis to get deeper understanding about the author's intentions on text messages. To be literate today means being able to use some combinations of textings. So like I said before, now the informations or the world in the children's hands, like social media, and then games, Skype, Google, or mobile apps. They are enjoying to play all those apps while they are learning. So inserting the way how critical literacy or being literate, critical literate critically is very important for us as educators nowadays. Okay, I will not talk much about this concept because it's already broadened up by this previous speaker. So let me go on to another slide. That now, how is the classroom reform for today? That with the changing or the movement of the concept of literacy, that make the new agents at the end, the reformations of classroom is also moved or changed. Like previously, the children is just listening to the teachers about the word or the information they got. Then later on, children can play or can gain the information or knowledge from the textbook. And then nowadays, with the help of the development of technology or the internet in the life, so makes the text is inside of that technology. Critical literacy itself actually in part of the wide range of the critical reading and critical thinking. While this scheme is one area in gaining understanding about text message or information messages. Part of the critical literacy is starting with the critical reading. Critical reading itself, the prerequisites of being critical in reading is categorized by not only the ability to read, but the ability to comprehend about what is the topic about, and then who is the writer, and then in what intentions, and also analyzing some areas that relating with our new opinions about the text message. From that process, that critical thinking will grow up. So by reading with comprehensions, reading with analyzing, so means that our brain is playing in the way of critical thinking. So we think critically about what is the topic about. And then in the way of critical literacy, then we move to the new agent. We have our own perspective about what we have read. And in this case, the critical literacy will bring us a way that in understanding about the text messages is not it should not follow with the author's intentions, or should not follow with the author's message. We as the reader have a chance to have another opinion or another message about the information that we have read. Okay. Okay, to next slide. Okay, as we know, that children's literature is moving fastly from the textual into the mobile one, so they can read or they can reach their word by their hand, just by one tap or click up or swipe away, then it's easily appear in their hand. So by talking or having differentiating ideas among younger learners to make they have raised up the different accepting differentiation ideas. So I just wanted to show that this is the movement of the textual literacy, which is on textual and then move to the technology era nowadays. And every information or every text has a message actually. Just like when I can show there, when we show to the students about a narration or story, and they can gather their own ideas or their own perspectives about what is said in that story. So we just let them to speak about, but we are inside with them to get the analysis and to have the right way of the informations to avoid the bad informations or to avoid the bad things in their mind. Okay, next slide, Mas Fadil. Yeah, okay, this is the last part that I can show for the references that I've read to talk about being critically is very important nowadays to avoid of the fake news or the hoax that are delivered among the younger learners. Okay, thank you. That's my part. Thank you very much. I will give back to Pak Arif.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Rika, for the nice presentations. Okay, for the audience, we have already presented 4 different topics from 4 different speakers, and then it is the time for Q&A. And then when I saw in the chat inbox, I could see 8 different questions, and then I will read one by one the questions, and then I will give to all the presenters to answer the questions. Yeah, the first one is from Bu Yuli Pujiastuti, and then the question is, dear Bu Fani, would you like to give us some tips to encourage and to teach literacy to the children who have dyslexia? Thanks in advance. So, Bu Fani, you will answer this question.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Arif. Thank you, Bu Yuli, for asking the questions. Nice to meet you today. Dyslexia is actually a problem, yeah, for certain children who have difficulty in, we call it a specific learning difficulty that among the other thing can impact their individual ability to break down into their component of phonemes. And it is this kind of difficulty is actually very crucial because this kind of skill will influence the ability of them to read and also write and even to spell the words or even the letter. Personally, I have no experience, yeah, in what is it, in helping this kind of problem, but fortunately one of my neighbor is actually having one kind of this dyslexia son, yeah. And once I came to the neighbor, come to that house, my neighbor asked the private teachers. Yeah, I don't know where the private teachers is coming from, but these private teachers use the applications. Like once I asked her, the application is called as Lexipad or Lexipal. Yeah, this is kind of online application. And also the second, which is commonly used by this private teacher, is EduDesper, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So this is kind of application used for dyslexia children. And then maybe by investigating, by observing what happens in my neighbor, I can say that these teachers use the colorful pens. Yeah, first he used the colorful pen in the whiteboard that presented and provided by the parent, and then she usually avoid the use of long sentence in teaching. So it's like short phrase or only word by word. And then once I also see that she asked this child to write on the air. Yeah, it's like menulis di udara. I don't know how to explain it. It's like menulis di udara. And then sometimes, yeah, she also use iPad, yeah, for asking this child to type something. So rather than doing writing on the book, this teacher usually use iPad or computer media to mediate the process of writing of this dyslexia child. Yeah, and then on the other occasions, I talked to her in a small talk, and she is very good actually in solving this kind of problem, yeah, for parents, because she has for more about seven dyslexia students in Semarang, yeah, and she is very familiar with the method of dyslexia, like neurological method, and then phonic method, and also multisensory method. And I think when the problem of dyslexia comes to us for personal or for better learning, yeah, as parents we need to ask the certain or private teacher concerning in dyslexia. But what can we do as parents? Of course, we should do something, yeah, at homes, like doing like what the teachers does in the process of teaching and learning. So it's better for us also to imitate and continue what has been done by these private teachers. Yeah. Do I answer to you, Yuli?
Yes, thank you, Bu Fani. Actually, Bu Antika, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Actually, I faced that problem to my son. Yes, and I need a solution. It sometimes make me desperate to teach him to write. Yes, to teach him to read and write. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure that it needs your patience, yeah, Ibu, for having this kind of problem. But I'm sure that you can do the best one for your child. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Pak Arif.
Okay, thank you. So Bu Fani has already answered the question, yeah, by Bu Yuli. And then now,
okay, Pak Arif, may I?
Yes. Because there are some questions given to Bu Prila, so the time is your Bu Prila. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the time. Actually, there are two questions addressed to me from Pak Januari Rizky from Lombok West, Nusa Tenggara, and Ibu Rukmeningsi. Yeah. From Pak Januari asking about some tips, some tips for selecting media for children in relation to the formations of their identity. So how to construct student identity through media and the parents' role. And Ibu Rukmini asking about how to encourage our children to have reading and writing literacy skill, since they right now prefer playing games. Okay, thank you for the questions. And In my opinion, our children today growing up digitally. Yeah, that's for as a parents, we have to what's that? We have to aware about that too. We have to be more digitalized. Jadi sebagai orang tua kita harus lebih digital dari anak-anak kita. So we have to learn about it. Parents must know their children's friends, both online or offline. We have to know the platform or software or applications that the children use. Yeah, what they are going on the web and what they are doing online. Yeah, we have to know. We have to know that, especially for children. And for Ibu Rukmini, I think playing game is not indicator that our children is a lazy one because they are not interested in reading or writing. Because in playing game, as a parents, we can play a video game together with our kids. I think it is a good to demonstrate. We give example how to be sportive in playing the game, and we can introduce or sharing our life experiences and perspective and how to play the game. Let's take an example. You know that there is a playing chess, online chess. So if we are capable, we are very good in playing chess, we can give our knowledge to our children that we have to do this and this in order to win the game. And you see that more than 1,000 apps, in Google, you just Googling application, educational application, there will be 1,000 of applications labeled as educational one. But little research has demonstrated their actual quality. So we have to be wise in select which app or which web which are suitable to our children. You see that maybe you are familiar with Common Sense Media. So we try to Common Sense Media to review about 8 appropriate apps. That's why we can select which one the apps or the web that are suitable to our children's age. Games and program, sometimes what's that? We have to make the best choice for our children in order to promote their identity. I think like that, my tips and how to encourage our children to promote their literacy skill. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bu Prila. So, Pak Zanuarius, did Bu Prila answer the question?
Ibu
And
Rukmini,
Bu Rukmini?
It's answer your questions, my tips.
Okay, thank you, Bu Prila. It's very nice response. Okay, I think that actually that I worry about my children always prefer playing game instead.
Yeah,
but
so you have to
yes.
sometimes you have to sit beside them.
Yes.
To play the game together.
Yes, okay. I think this is a nice answer from Bu Prila. Thank you very much, Bu Prila.
Thank you, Bu Rukmini.
Okay, so I do agree with Bu Rukmini. I think that we all parents are in the same boat, having the same problems with the children. Okay, so the next, Pak Fadil. So I think that you will answer some questions from the questions.
Thank you, Pak Arif. Thank you, Pak Arif. Actually, I'm interested in cultural literacy. So I see 2 questions here about culture. The first one from Reni, Ibu Reni Napitasari. The question: how's the speaker's view about cultural literacy practice in language learning and how important it is? And the next one from Bapak Kresnu. Yeah, Mr. Kresno, yeah. Culture in textbook. Okay, I think these two questions are related each other. Yeah, okay. Considering cultural literacy in the ELT classroom, yeah, we know that cultural literacy itself means engaging student with beliefs, values, and also activities, and also history of their given cultures. Yeah, but now, as we know, the notion of new literacies try to foster children become global citizenship. Uh, Michael Biram, yeah, has proposed a concept. It is intercultural citizenship. Yeah, he tries to combine intercultural awareness and also citizenship. Intercultural here means that learners need to master their own culture, and also try to know the concept of intercultural speaker. Yeah, they need to know other cultures, other activities, other values, and then besides that, they also need to know the point of being global citizenship. Yeah, it means that they have a good empathy. Yeah, they know that citizenship relates to identity of their nation, so that they need to master their own culture first, and then they also need to know becoming participative global citizenship, yeah, by being that participate actively in global action, so that in our ELT classroom, we need to consider this concept. It means that, yeah, if we find that anything materials related to culture, yeah, as a teacher, we need to be aware if there is only culture related to Western culture, yeah, maybe we need to uh, emphasize the learners that the culture should be in global perspective, so that they will expand their perspective toward culture itself. And in terms of textbook, yeah, it also occurred it also occurs in textbook, so that textbook authors or maybe teachers as textbook users need to be aware of this issue. Yeah, yeah. Before they use the textbook, they need to maybe to check the materials, yeah, from reading text passages, and also assignments there. If there is some issue related to uh, in inequality, yeah, maybe or maybe tend to expose certain culture like a Western culture only. Yeah, as a teacher, they need to be aware by balancing the contents of the culture itself, so that students will have uh, balance balance competencies, yeah, in terms of culture of others. Okay, I think that's all from me. Is that answering the question?
Menambahkan izin Pak Arif.
Okay.
Okay, please do, and Fanny.
Yeah, I'm interested in one of the questions. Yeah, and also it relates to the other questions from what has been explained by Pak Fadil relating to culture literacy practices. So, personally, for me, culture here is something which is broad, and it can be used as the one of knowledge. Yeah, as we know that in one classroom, of course, there will in the national or even international context, yeah, one classroom may consist of different kind of students, yeah, different family background and different culture that they bring from their home, and this kind of differences, of course, will create difference in their needs, yeah, and even what kind of literacy practices that they need to be engaged with. And I agree that actually this cultural literacy practices is related to text. Yeah, so how to promote this kind of how important also this kind of cultural literacy practices can be linked to the text, yeah, that used in the classroom, like the textbook. Yeah, one question from Pak Krisnu. And here the text here should represent the culture where the students belong to. Like in Indonesia, we have a lot of cultures, yeah, Javanese, and then Sundanese, also the other Balinese and the other one. And in the textbook that we have today, yeah, it seems that not all cultures are represented in the textbook. So this is kind of gaps, yeah, that may need more further investigation on how sometimes Javanese is more highlighted, yeah, in the textbook that we use in junior high school or even in senior high school. But then the role of teachers here is trying to encourage, yeah, is trying to reinforce the students to be still engaged in this kind of literacy practices. We should tell them that Japanese is still Indonesia, Balinese is still Indonesia, so that the cultural literacy practices can be seen as something which is crucial to be highlight among these students. Thank you, Pak Ari.
Okay, so thank you, Bu Fani. So I am sorry for the audience because we are running out of time. So I think that we need to have one more what is that answer from the presenter. Bu Rika, you will answer one or more questions.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll try to respond from Pak Om Mbak ya, Nugrahani. Yeah. Nugrahani away that how to encourage students to speak their thoughts. Yeah, it's not easy task for us as educators to help students on reaching out all the ideas that they have actually. But children, when we are talking in a children environment right now, children prefers to play or to learn in a collaborative way, so that they prefer to learn with the friends. So by making collaborative learning in the classroom or while we are online, how to do that in collaborative learning, perhaps by making small discussions via WhatsApp group. Then we instruct them to have peers to talk about the topic that we deliver to them. But when we are facing in a classroom environment, we make the class kind of collaboration. So make a collaborative learning to get the literacy awareness from them. So by taking the inquiry-based learning, so freeing them to ask the questions among each other, to help them to rise up all the things that in their mind, I think it can easily helps them to speak up. But basically, in fact, we still face some students who, because of the background of the students, then they are hard to speak up in their small community. We still face on that conditions. Even now, we have some strategies to help them, to encourage them to talk freely. We just close to them and have them being enjoy with the peers, or choosing the peers which is have a good relationship with those group. Then make inquiry-based learning inside of every topics in that small group. and then listing or make some question as much as possible on every a single group. So by getting or letting them to speak up to talk about the topic that we deliver to them, it's one way that we convey on these motivations to talk or to talk beyond the topic from that students. As I said, from Mbak atau Mas Nugrahani tadi ya, Pak Arif ya.
Okay, thank you for the explanation, Bu.
Oh yes, Mbak ya, so sorry Ibu.
Okay.
Yeah, memang for today we still face that the hardest things that to one or several students had to talk inside of the small member. Masih ada saja ya, but that's our job as educators to sit aside with them, gitu ya Mbak Nugrahani ya.
Iya Bu.
Thank you so much for the questions. That's my response.
Okay, so thank you for Bu Rika for answering the questions from Bu Nugrahani. So I am, as the moderator, would like to say sorry for everyone here because we are running out of times, and then but still some questions, yeah, that have not been answered by the presenter. But don't worry about that because after this, the video recording will be uploaded in the YouTube. So all the questions given by the audience will be answered there. And then don't forget for everyone here because tomorrow we still have another literacy talk. The next will be the role of literature, yeah, the role of literature in constructing new literacies. And then we have Bu Yuvita, and then Bu Kadek Sonia, and then Bu Lulut, and then Bu Ika, and the last one is Pak Daren. So I think that the next topic will also be more interesting, yeah, talking about literacy. And then before I end the sessions, I would like to say thank you for your participation, especially for Bu Puji Astuti as our great and marvelous lecturer in the education literacy. And I also would like to say thank you for all presenters, Pak Fadil, Bu Fani, and then Bu Prila, and the last one, Bu Rika. And then I am, as the moderator, would like to say sorry if we cannot answer all the questions given by the audience. Okay, thank you for your participations, and then hope you will be participating in the next sessions with another literacy talk. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you all. See you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, I will end.
Thank you, presenters.
Yes.
Good job.